How to complete a My Success sheet at home. The first thing you need to do on this sheet is to fill in your information at the top. So you'll need to put in your name. I'm just going to put in a random one for now, John Smith. And then you'll need to put in your art class and tutor group. If you're not sure about your art class, it will be on your timetable on Go for Schools. So I'm just going to put in one as an example, 7A1, and then your tutor group might be 7C. For project theme, your project was portraiture. So you write that in there. Now it says knowledge, planning and creating. That's for your assessment scores. Don't worry about that. We'll add that in another time. And then equally, where it says teacher feedback, you also don't need to worry about that. Here it says my reflection, what I did well and what I need to finish or refine. Now we were very, very close to finishing your portraiture project in school. Some of you may well have already finished your self-portrait. Some of you might have needed a little bit more time. So we're just going to reflect on whatever stage you had got to. So for example, I might write, I have created a self-portrait using pencil and watercolours. I have so far added a good amount of detail and tone using pencil. I still need to complete my background using different shades of hot colours. So you might put something along these lines. What have you done so far? What do you still need to do? It might well be, if you finished it, that you can just say, I have completed this and I'm very pleased with it. Or you could reflect on something that perhaps next time you might do differently. Like if you know that the colours might have bled into each other a little bit in the background, perhaps you should have used less water. So this is just an opportunity for you to reflect on what you've done so far. The next section here is what new knowledge did you draw upon during the unit? Now this is all based on the type of knowledge that you were asked about in a knowledge quiz. So it might be about formal elements such as colour theory, or about using tone or using texture. Or using mark making. It might be knowledge about portrait artists such as Chuck Close. It might be knowledge about the grid technique. There's lots of different things that you could be referring to here that I know you all used within the project. So as an example, I'm going to put, I used my knowledge of the artist Chuck Close. He uses the grid technique to create accurate proportions in his work. I applied the grid technique in my own self-portrait. Then what skills did you use? Now the skill is when you're sort of demonstrating your knowledge. So it might be applying your knowledge of colour theory when you're choosing how to mix colours in your colour wheel, or it might be applying your knowledge of tone when you're shading in your self-portrait. So there's lots of different examples there. The example I will include is I used my skills of colour mixing when creating a colour wheel in my sketchbook. Then the final section you need to do is at the bottom here. It's referring to the We Are Inspired mantra, which of course is very important at LECA. And they're listed along the bottom there. And I want you to use this moment to really reflect on you and how you think you perform within the project in terms of which of these elements you think you demonstrated. So for example, were you solution focused? Were you enthusiastic? Were you independent? And then crucially, you need to be able to sort of explain why. So I'm going to say within this project I have shown that I am an independent learner because I completed homework tasks to a good standard and got high marks. So for example, if you know that you got good scores for your homework, then it obviously suggests you're an independent learner. Could be that, for example, if you found something quite challenging, if you found drawing out your portrait quite challenging, you could say that you've been solution focused or that you never give up. If you often have provided answers within class discussions, then that suggests you're enthusiastic, for example. Once you've answered that at the bottom, you have completed this sheet, and all you'll need to do is save it and then submit it via Teams to your art teacher.